fucking say the F word if I want. No, anyway, Matt, if there's one thing I felt that clip because my god, that was cringy.
I'm gonna just...
Have you guys ever felt a character talk before?
I'm gonna turn that down again.
I mean, apparently people feel me talking Carl when my mic's acting up.
Yes.
Yes. Your microphone is one of the legendary Xbox Live Kid microphones I've heard in the past.
It's a blue snowball, what the fuck?
I don't know. I used a blue snowball. I never remember it sounding this distorted. Are you sure your cable's okay?
It might
There's
not,
definitely
though. I
something
have to
wrong
check
with
the
that.
cable.
Yeah,
Okay.
something
It
is
can't be
indeed
another
wrong
kind
with
of
your snowball. Has clearly foreseen an unfortunate event.
Okay, I'll put it in a different port. Does that help? Oh, now it's at a fucking angle.
Huh.
Wasn't plugged in all the way.
Oh my
Okay, that's a
God.
lot better.
Dude, we went from Xbox Live Kid to a YouTuber real fast.
Oh my fucking... That's gonna
that
be
was
fucking
completely
brilliant in the final video, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm
Okay,
so-
you guys-
Do you want
You
to
guys
start
wanna
over
continue?
now that we have decent audio?
Yes.
Okay, let's restart here.
Be our coach. I figured if any pony can make Cheer Squad awesome, it's you. Me? Why? Because everything's
By the way, the
always
background
awesome
for
with
this
you.
video
Or 20%
sucks.
cooler.
What is it?
It does. Is this Cora? It reminds me of fucking Treasure Planet.
Hey, mine is a checkered flag that moves. Mine's automatically better.
Oh wow, yours has motion.
Yes.
You're the
Wait,
most
my background's don't have
enthusiastic pony
motion.
in Equestria.
My
But yours are
background,
better than this.
my background is
They are.
poor lighting and a red wall. Suck it.
Whoa.
My background doesn't have motion, but it has a train in it, so that's better.
It has a train station.
Also, I
Stop
would
reading
say,
the train.
MisAntrhoPony has the video clip way too small compared to the background, whereas like the background starts to become distracting. You know what I mean?
he did.
I
Except
I
now
All he
actually
needs to do now
I
is
think-
move it up to the top corner and then put his a tiny
Yeah.
OC down in the opposite corner.
what I find interesting actually now you bring that up with the format is I feel like the reason it's done like that is to try to duck out of copyright claims and whatnot. But what people really need to do is full screen the footage or make it slightly smaller, but add a border so that it's not the full
That's
frame.
what I do.
Yeah,
I always just- I
and
always
borders
just
just
take
look
the-
nicer, and as well, no one can steal your content if you have an original border, because then everyone knows where the border came from.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I do in my backgrounds when I just shrink the clip. But sometimes, like, when I use the frozen clip, I just made the actual colors a little warmer, and that tricked YouTube. That I can still, if I monetize my channel, that video would still qualify.
Yeah, so like, there's better ways to do what Anthropony's trying to do with the background, because it just sort of looks odd. Like they forgot to hit fit to frame when they were exporting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how that works. My video editor works differently than that. VSDC is kind of quirky, I've learned, since trying out Lightworks, but,
Why are you using
what was that?
Lightworks?
I
I
think-
used Lightworks in the past exclusively. Oh, I only edited once in that. I used Lightworks in the past exclusively to make my camera footage into MP4 so that HitFilm would take it. HitFilm now takes my video formats. Use HitFilm. It's free.
I was on Linux at the time, and my
Oh
laptop
God.
wasn't-
Well, okay. Well, there was problem. There was your first problem.
It's not a bad system. It's
It's
like the
not.
PS
It's
Vita.
just
The system's
obsolete.
great.
Is the issue.
It actually,
You know,
it really is.
this happens on EFAP all the time, where the video in question is like so uninteresting. Everyone starts talking about something else. We're like, oh yeah, we're watching this video.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
thank
we
you,
could
Lefty.
keep watching. It's an option, right?
Restarting, or not okay, resuming, not restarting.
Yes.
My bad.
Yeah, thank you.
The way she said that, just... I fucking felt that.
I'm so glad we talked long enough to forget what she
Hey,
said.
this is a good Christian stream, sir.
No. We already had someone swearing. We've abandoned that, unfortunately. But we
Okay,
talked
well,
for
fuck it
so
then, I guess.
long that I forgot what Smolder said.
Something about not let.
Something about her Rainbow Dash not being cool. Oh jeez.
Oh, that artwork is horrible.
That metal is loud. Let me turn that down. Jesus Christ. We went from like quiet whispering to heavy metal real fast.
What is
We
with
used-
the MS Paint art?
Oh,
What
we
is this?
used to complain about the metal. I remember Lily complained about the metal on there, and then all he did was speed it up. And like for some reason, oh okay, the people don't like the metal, so let's speed it up.
Does anyone
At least it's over
have
a
a
bit.
problem?
now.
Now to think about it, does anyone have a problem with the music I use for my end screen? I just use a guitar solo from
no,
Def
because
Leppard.
there's a huge difference. Your voice is actually decently volumed and consistent, so we're not going from "Hey guys, welcome to my channel" to blasting heavy metal.
So just random. What the fuck is that song?
We went from like talking with our indoor voices to edgy teen heavy metal real quick.
to actually being at a concert.
Yeah. The
Actually
fact
being
that they
at a
didn't
concert.
level their sound to at least be like, I get, you know, some things need to be louder and quieter, but like whenever I edit, you always make the audio in sort of a consistent range so you don't like people don't have to turn up the volume to hear it at one point and then turn it down when their ears start bleeding.
Yes.
Let me stop you for 1 second. Why is there a fucking Mega Man X logo in the corner?
What? Oh,
I don't.
that is
know.
weird.
Here, I'll back it up to like a minute 3 or something. There we go. I don't know what that is.
It's just sort of there.
Let me
I'll just say though, that art is very cheap. I hope he
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
pay too much for it.
I feel like I might have been able to make that myself if I really felt like spending the time on it, but I
Like
don't.
I think what also really kills it, like kills the art, is the fact that like it's drawn at such a low resolution. So when you look from a distance, like right now, it looks okay, but like when you zoom in, you
like
can
he
see the
was
pixels
like
real
he was
quick.
2 seconds ago when
Yeah.
he had it panning across the video.
Also, why in that art? Why is Rainbow wearing her Element of Harmony necklace?
They all are.
Okay,
Yeah.
Why though? They don't
Because
use
it looks
That's a good
cool,
question.
dog.
What I want to know is, look at this fucking purple logo thing. That's just so bad.
And also, shouldn't the phrase "the magic ends"? I feel that should be in the same font as season 9 finale.
Yes, it should. And it should also not be offset like
We're
that.
just ripping apart this movie poster
Okay,
right now.
okay. What if you? There's 3 words. What if you split it up? Like the far left on the bottom is "the," and in the middle under finale is "magic," and then the far right is "ends." Would that be better?
Yes, that's what I would do. That's what, or alternatively, make the whole word smaller, like the size of that "the," and put them all under the word finale.
This just turned into a branding class real quick.
No, this is how you make posters, MisAntrhoPony. Please listen to it.
Look at how
I
bad
w-
the actual
okay,
MLP
I work in a
logo is.
movie theater. You need to listen to me, MisAntrhoPony.
He knows his stuff.
Yes.
All right, let's continue with this shit fest, whatever.
Fit fast.
Excuse me, if you say too many mean things, we're gonna get hounded down on the internet. Just be aware. Now this
I
looks
think I
great
got a
though.
title
This
for
art
the
looks
video now.
fantastic.
It does, but you know, I love how he put in 246 great review as if we forgot what video we're watching.
I still have the title in the fucking corner of my video.
Yeah,
because
no,
of the damn
I'm not going
watch
to
together
zoom
thing
in
that was
actually
posted
because
up.
I'm afraid it'll mess up my OBS.
This art actually is good. I like it.
He probably commissioned it and then drew the other one himself.
Oh yeah, it is. See, underneath it says patreon.com/.
Well, yeah, you guys didn't
So
see
he
that
did commission-
watermark.
Yeah, yeah, it's signature.
Yeah.
Impact font.
Tearing it.
At least it's not Comic Sans.
Well, it finally
Oof.
happened.
What the
After a fun
fuck?
and entertaining
What the
episode,
fuck
season
is
9
this
This is a
screenshot?
very important moment. This was the moment Rainbow Dash realized she made a mistake in her life.
This is the moment Rainbow Dash realized she was in a MisAntrhoPony video.
Stop laughing! Oh my god, let me breathe. Oh my god, why did you have fucking snake eyes?
Dude, those are snakes. That's an insult to snakes. Look at those eyes.
Yeah.
Snakes' eyes make more sense than whatever Dark Void Rainbow Dash was
Twilight
smoking
is
weed
very
in.
disappointed in your animation.
Does Rainbow need to see a doc? What kind of doctor do you see?
Dude, there's no
You
doctor
see an
that can
exorcist
save
for
her.
that. That's what you call an exorcist for.
No, yeah. Here, let's get
You
Jack.
know, it's
He's...
like Nutty Professor, just like someone call an exorcist.
No, guys, we
This
just
is
need to
where
get
you
Jack the
get,
hero.
professors
He knows
from,
more about the Bible than any of us. He's our best bet.
Who are the fucking professors' names from that one Lovecraft story? With Yog-Sothoth in it.
No
That's
idea.
I don't know.
The first one, the one where he has the invisible twin that's growing in the house. And they.
I don't know,
remember.
man.
I saw it. I'll bet
Okay,
your cat would be able to
if
tell
we
me.
can't remember, if we can't remember, maybe we should try calling the Ghostbusters. That could help.
That would work. The good Ghostbusters, though.
Oof.
The real men ones.
The one with the Twinkie.
I mean, that Twinkie analogy was pretty. Well, that was some like top tier science right there.
No, that's big brain science.
Big brain
Why
science.
Why are the street posts buckball baskets?
Because
I
that's
think-
the buckball field.
Yeah, it looks like the
is it?
buckball tournament thing.
They look like fucking light posts.
I know.
I mean, a
Alright,
light
where
post
do you
is literally
But
just
no,
a stick
we
with a
have an
light in
episode
it.
that's
They're not
just
very creative.
So painful. 246 grade found itself being a really infamous episode pretty quickly.
Wait,
and
when
I
did
honestly
Snips
can't
come
blame
back?
people for feeling that.
How many times are we gonna use Snips and Snails as just slightly more
Snails,
interesting back
It's
characters?
okay. This is very interesting. Snails becomes a legitimately funny character only when Buckball's involved.
Yeah.
And in the episode Common Ground, Snips started up an entrepreneurial business selling autographed Buckball stuff. So that's what he's trying to do in this episode, trying to sell,
Okay.
first official School of Friendship Buckball merch.
All right.
They must have grew apart.
You know,
and
so
started
literally they didn't know what to do with their lives, and then the one became an athlete, and the other became took up marketing. You know, that's some pretty great character development. Let's just dive into that for the next 2 hours.
Hey, Map, you should take some notes.
Oh, by the way, guys, MisAntrhoPony quoted text on the screen. That means he's totally right.
Oh, wait, and with this, actually, why does their text look like meme text? Like, this is a
It's
meme
impact
photo
font.
right
It's
here.
impact font.
I think you
It's
should
font.
never use that in a legit video if you want to be taken seriously. That's why I use NASCAR font.
Yeah, clearly what we should be doing is
can
using
use
the
the
old
font.
English font, the most refined.
I think if you're using it to make a joke, it could work.
I'm gonna be perfectly fair. I don't hate that it's the font itself. Like Burger Tree does that, and it's fine there. Like he knows how to use it, but he also uses it only for the thumbnails, and the thumbnails have a very specific style to them.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's a
he uses
stylistic
it in a
thing, then, yeah.
stylization choice.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually knowing what the fuck you're doing. Like if you look at my thumbnails, every video series has a separate font. Fonts are part of your style. You can't just make it look like a meme.
Yeah, and I think like
For the record, for my thumbnails, I at least change the color for like whichever series it is.
Exactly. I do color and font. I change the background too when I'm not using one from the show or whatever.
I think what also makes it just looks too much like a meme because it's a still image with a weird expression and there's text. Like if it was maybe a moving thing, maybe it'd make a bit more sense, but the text just sort of seems a bit odd. Regardless,
I just realized
it just seems
Matt has made a meme that describes his whole video.
oof.
His whole channel.
Okay, so this took a dark turn real fast.
I think
Don't you
this
don't
was
you
finally
mean it took
being
a
aware.
left turn?
No, it didn't take a left turn because left turn you turn left normally. It took a right turn because we hit the wall really, really fast.
What's a right turn?
Well, you see, it's when you take your steering wheel and then you commit die on the NASCAR ring. That's what a right turn is.
Don't you mean commit Dale Earn?
It's like commit toaster bath, but more extreme and American.
By the way, I'm the only one allowed to make that joke.
American toaster bath?
No, I
No.
think he means about Earnhardt.
Yes. Okay,
Even
let's.
though I already did it in his video in a collab forever ago.
Yeah.
Almost 2 years ago now.
Jesus Christ, I feel old.
I know.
I was still a guy back then.
Let's
It's-
see. Like, oh, Onyx, can I just make this joke real quick?
Let me hear it.
Last time I was this early, Onyx was still a guy.
I was just thinking the same fucking thing.
Like, I just want to
sorry.
make sure that wasn't like too far or anything.
Yeah.
Good that you asked, but I'm totally fine with that kind of thing.
Okay.
Onyx is a
Okay, let's see.
chill get.
Let's see how funnier this video gets.
All right.
Yeah.
That way because it was not an easy one to sit through. Twilight and Celestia are busy setting up a buckball game between their two schools. And to help set things up, Twilight assigns Rainbow.
Celestia wasn't setting it up. It was the School of Friendship setting the whole thing up, and Celestia just brought a team over.
I love it how we pretend that Celestia still has a school that she cares about.
I like how we pretend Celestia.
What happened to the school when Celestia just, just said, "All right, I'm retired." The school just fell apart.
12 seconds later.
Maybe it's just Twilight's.
Oh, yeah, that would
No,
make
that's a
sense.
possibility.
Yeah, you know what? That makes perfect sense. All right, crisis averted, guys. Okay, back to
Well,
Buckball.
when she took over
I also-
ruling Equestria, that means everything, even the school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes
Twilight,
sense.
Twilight is love. Twilight is life. God save the princess.
I also like how there's ominous music in the background because like that's how bad the episode is. It's scary.
It's like,
Oh,
can you
no,
hit us
it's-
over the head anymore, map?
Yeah.
It's so scary. They
I don't
forgot
know.
to show
I've
the
only got
fucking
one
raccoon.
concussion so far. I can
Yeah.
get another one in there.
Rainbow Dash to coach the cheerleading squad. The only problem is that Dash doesn't seem to have any interest in cheerleading, and she shows that in the absolute worst ways possible.
Why
Can
are
Dash
you
stop being a
using
dick long
screenshots
enough
to
to actually
show a
put
clip
forth an effort to
and
get
talk
everyone
over it?
ready in time? Did she even need to be such a dick in the first place to...
Are we gonna say
She's
last
such a
time on
dick
Dragon
when
Ball
all
Z?
she's doing is blowing them off. Like, she just turned her back on him, which, yeah, that's bad, but he's acting like... he's acting like she...
she's a neglectful parent.
Yes, that's exactly it. I was trying to get the word out, neglectful.
Or a
Yeah,
literal supervillain terrorist, but we'll get to that bit later.
Oh
Yeah.
my fucking god.
If you don't respect children, you're worse than any organization on the planet. Bad parents, gotta go. Gotta get rid
I
of
mean,
y'all.
at most, I would say she just shows disinterest, and she doesn't want to be bothered. Like that's the length she goes to. That's not very
I
far.
mean, she kind of is being a dick, but so yeah, that's in character for her.
Oof.
Well, and remember, it's like I said in my video, we had to see that to make it seem legitimate.
Yeah, you know.
Like if the episode doesn't show enough evidence, how can we buy the student's reaction to her?
I also love how Map is obfuscating all of said evidence with the way he's editing this.
I'm guessing you hate to still image editing.
I think it's lazy. Just
I-
take a clip, make it silent, add a fade in if your editor's shit like VSDC and makes a weird little clicking sound when you don't. Shrink it a bit so it looks nice, and just talk over it. I've already done it like 50,000 times in the video. I'm
So
editing.
like pretty much everyone else in the Bronalysis community.
Yes, thank you.
Well,
Lefty.
I don't even think it's just a Bernalysis community. It's just like a reviewing style in general. Like
It is.
still
Yeah.
still images can work. It's just the fact that with the
If
slow
you-
paced
I
talking,
think
the
if you
images
use
are
them
on
in
screen for too
moderation,
long.
Like the Angry Video Game Nerd does for some of his movie reviews.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
it's a
That works.
stylistic thing.
So
You
like
can't do
in
it like
fact,
this.
I believe it's just sort of a filming and therefore an editing technique is that you should almost never be on one camera shot for more than 10 seconds. So using a still image really just sort of slows down the entire process. It makes it very uninteresting because you're looking at a painted wall for 10 minutes in an art museum, and then you walk over to the next one while hearing the same monotone voice.
Yeah, I know this is all basic, but I gotta spell it out because look who we're talking to.
the guy who thinks seeing raccoons is of the utmost importance.
Guys,
Yes.
raccoons are very important. You never know if it's secretly a familiar to a witch that we then have to stake and burn. You gotta keep your eyes peeled, man.
That must be what he was thinking when he was making the rest of these videos, because he's too busy thinking about the raccoons.
On a train.
Yes, raccoons on a train. That should be fucking snakes on a plane. Raccoons.
Wait a
on
minute. I know why we couldn't see them, because Midnight would have charged the camera crew to film on his train.
plane.
Midnight, you
Sounds
gotta
alright.
stop being a capitalist for 5 minutes so we can get this footage.
Yes.
No,
Yeah,
for
but-
30 seconds.
Could you not?
I
be
charge by the
capitalist
minute.
For 5 minutes.
I'm a communist, thank you very much.
The internet has spoken.
Comrade.
Be such a dick in the first place to get the message across? I don't think so. So before I rip this thing a new one, I would like to talk about the strengths
He's gonna
this
rip it a new
episode has,
one.
because there are good things about it. I particularly like how Snails is given more characterization in this episode, really making up for how he was just annoying
Wait,
background
did they
noise throughout
just...
the course of this.
Wait, I'm This is just me being a stupid person, but isn't that Snips?
That is Snips. Did he say snails?
He said
Let
snails.
me rewind that. Let me
Let's go
rewind
back.
that. Okay, listen,
Really
listen.
Really
listen.
making up for how he was just annoying background noise throughout the.
He said snails! That's Snips, you idiot!
Yeah, we're talking about snails and we have a still image of Snips. Maybe they just said the wrong one by accident. But like Snails does get also like Snips earlier on because of Buckball got more character and Snips is doing the same. But we're talking about snails, which I'm gonna assume they
But
meant to say
but
Snips.
He does say snails is selling stuff when it's Snips.
Okay, yeah. So then they just goofed. That's just a
How do
goof.
you miss that?
It's the
I
same
don't-
character. They don't mean anything.
It's How do you miss raccoons?
Oh, God. By the way, I mean, only barely mentioned this in my video because I thought it was too obvious. Like, yes, Snips is getting more characterization.
Maybe he
Right.
Course
just
of the
needs
series.
to really
With this
stretch
episode
to
and the
think
other
of
one he
something
was
he
in,
liked.
he actually
Yeah.
has a personality now, a money-grubbing businessman who also maintains some common sense. They actually have him be a voice of
So he's
reason
Mr.
and being
Krabs.
helpful while keeping him in character, which I think is much more humorous. Not to mention, he actually has some pretty strong magic for being such a small unicorn. It's actually surprising.
Size
just how
doesn't
quickly he
matter,
managed to reveal
boys. You
things,
heard it here
making him an actual
first.
character in the final days of the show.
I'll
I
bet
also
your map would know
I
firsthand.
mean, he said he has strong magic. Well, for one thing, Ocellus is a young changeling, and two, his magic was only able to encompass the end of Rainbow's tail, and she was able to pull out of it. That's not very strong.
But you forgot that Rainbow Dash is actually a Super Saiyan and therefore has insurmountable power. So the fact that he was able to
mean,
contest it for as
all
long
you
as he
had to
did
say-
is quite clearly a feat in itself.
All you had to say there was we see just the extent of Snips's magic, which we haven't seen very much of before.
To be fair, Rainbow is probably not easy to hold on to with magic, so
Yeah.
but still not really saying much at all because no one could do that. That doesn't tell us anything.
also think it's a nice bit of continuity to have Celestia's interest in sports tie into her character in some way. Between Dawn and Dusk made it clear that she was a very
When
active
did she
pony
show
who
an
liked to
interest in
engage.
sports?
I don't.
He
Shoot.
said
Was
between dawn and dusk, but
Yeah.
those were outdoor activities. Those aren't necessarily the same as sports.
yeah. Wasn't there like the Wonderbolt was doing an event or something like that?
Well, that was established in testing 1 2 3. She helped found the EUP after the split of Nightmare Moon.
hmm
But I mean, Ariel. Okay, the Wonderbolts are Equestria's version of the Navy
Blue
Blue
Angels.
Angels and the Air Force Thunderbirds. Those are aerial acrobatics. I mean, you could say those are a sport, but when you say Celestia watching a buckball game, okay, let's say that's watching football. That's not the same as watching the Thunderbirds or the Blue Angels. That is not the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
glad
the
you
the
got- we
tickets
got
are
a-
very different. One's very expensive.
I like how we got a perfect representation of us here.
Yelling at him.
Yeah. And
No,
everyone else is-
no. There's me. I'm Starlight. I'm
The
I'm
one
making quiet
thing-
comments with my mind.
The one thing the only thing I said about this was I just loved hearing Celestia, using her Canterlot voice again.
Yep. Okay, this is irrelevant to the video, but it kind of weirds me out that Celestia looks like a goddamn fucking hot dog.
Oh my
What?
god, she does.
Her body's real stretch, yeah.
Expand Celestia.
This would have been the perfect time to put that meme text in. We could have had a well-baked meme right here.
We could
Come
have
on, don't take that shit from them.
a nice deep fried meme.
No, if you want deep fried, you gotta put that through like 5 filters.
I know. And then you gotta do the evil red glowing eyes.
Yes. I actually found the lens flares on my in hit film, and he used it. I put like a laughing cry emoji. It was the cringiest thing ever. It was magnificent.
We ready to proceed?
Yes, we are.
And energetic hobbies, so being a fan of Buckball actually makes sense for her. I like how Ocellus is trying to come out of her shell and trying to express herself in different ways. Seeing cheerleading as a means to appeal to others as more than just
And she's been doing that for quite a bit. Like almost every episode that has her, she comes out of her shell like a bit more. She's consistent, like she's sort of recluse and introvert, but she's consistently trying to be more outgoing.
And she even in this episode, she specifically said she wants to be, known more for than just changing shape. Yeah. That is literally what she said.
I can't comment. I haven't seen much of season 8 at all.
It's season 9.
Oof.
Season 9, even less, because I literally watched the finale and like the
what
first 5
is
episodes.
time?
Time is irrelevant.
I need to binge everything.
I
after
thought it
season
was
6.
relative.
I just saw this episode literally because I heard there were bronies raging about it, and I was like, I've got to see it now.
I still haven't seen
And
this
you're
episode.
like,
This
this isn't that bad.
I love how we're all saying how little we know about the episode, so when people see this, they're gonna complain about us not knowing the episode well enough to judge it.
You do have a point, but like, I don't care.
Well, I've seen it, so I know everything about it.
Yeah.
I'll
Lefty's
put
the
it
only
like this.
intellectual
I mean,
here.
I have watched the episode.
Okay, Lefty
watched the
and Midnight are the
episode.
two intellectuals.
Well, we like
I'm writing
racing,
a review
so
on
of
this
course
episode
we
as
are.
well.
Let me talk quick. So the reason this works is now we have a spectrum of opinions. Some of us have seen it, some of us haven't. This is good because you don't need to be a chef to tell someone their food tastes like shit.
Kyle Petty.
Oof.
That's one example, but I'm talking.
I know.
Because we haven't seen the episode doesn't mean we can't tell the.
We
review
we
shit.
can't judge the review and whatnot.
Yeah, Onyx, you've been telling him how his editing has been shit since it started.
Yeah, the video
I know.
creation we all have experience with.
That is fair, but I mean, just on the episode itself, I haven't seen it. Doesn't mean I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But don't worry, a comment will tell you why you're wrong.
She's considered the most timid of the students. I really like Smolder. The moment where she finally
That
puts her
face.
foot down and starts standing up to Rainbow Dash really shows
She
how
looks
she's
like
not
a.
afraid of
We should
confronting
just
authority
chop
with
her
the
head
truth.
off and she's
Seeing
a
her
puffer
expressing
fish.
How deeply she was
That or Flounder from Little Mermaid.
That works
invested in
too.
cheerleading and how hurt she felt that Dash didn't care about them, it genuinely felt like she was hurt, and the disappointment just rings a really strong chord with what she was going through.
The
Not to
writers
mention
know
she's
how
really
to.
Oh, sorry.
expressing her
Oh,
The
stop.
writers know how to convey tone.
Also, the voice actress did her job.
Yeah. Oh no, they were competent. It's not like we figured that out about the show 9 seasons ago.
I don't know, guys. Sometimes they're pretty silly. Like they spawn 3 legs when they're trying to drill kick. So clearly,
Sometimes they get demonized.
sometimes they become a Cyclops. This is a crazy, wacky world we live in, and consistency. It's a good meme.
Clearly, Pinkie Pie is our goddess.
She is, though. She is a goddess
Yeah.
because she's She's immortal because she can't die. She is a prophet. That Pinkie Pie is at least a prophet, if not some sort of messiah.
I might
early
have
side by
accidentally
dressing up
started
in
a
public,
religion.
feeling more comfortable with being
Accidentally
honest about her
starts a
interest
cult
and showing
around
it to
Pinky,
others.
doesn't
She's amongst the
regret
most
it.
developed of the student
Yeah,
six
no,
alongside
don't
Jonah
do
and
that.
Dallas, really showing how much she's changed and how far she's come since she started off as a tomboy dragon who didn't think very highly of anything unrelated to dragons. And that's about it. That's pretty much all the nice things I can
I love
say
it
about
how
this
she,
episode.
how...
And he goes back to the first screen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
I like how he says, "Oh, this is all I can say good about it. It's a 30-year damn video."
Yeah. And then, but
It's very true.
I just to take a step back, I love it how they mentioned that Smolder was, you know, kind of growing out of the tomboy dragon and as style or just character. I'm just like, but tomboy just seems a bit like excessive to say onto dragon, because knowing this universe, all of the dragons are just sort of more crude, less respectable, and less
Yeah.
you know, so like tomboy just seemed because Smolder, like, from the get-go, was more polite and respectful than all dragons. To say tomboy dragon seems a bit redundant, as well as the fact that it just seems like an unnecessary detail, specifically because Smolder's
Well, it's a
probably
lazy
one of the most
generalization, really.
respectable dragons of all the dragons.
I only have one complaint with your argument, Lazer. Hashtag not all dragons. What about Ember? What about Spike?
Ember and Spike, yeah, so of those three, they're probably the most respectable of all dragons.
I know.
So,
I'm
but
just
yeah,
saying,
so
I'm
yeah,
just giving
but
you
to
shit.
say that Smolder, you know, to say coming from the tomboy dragon lifestyle just seems a bit redundant, as well as the fact that it kind of, it downplays how Smolder was default better than 90% of dragons.
For the record, I think Ember's dad should get a little credit there, because he was honorable and stepped down when he knew it was time, and he could have just said, "Fuck that, I'm staying king."
Well, yeah, like,
That is
for,
true,
yeah, for
yeah.
sure. But again, that's 4 out of, like, and granted, we don't know personally a lot of other dragons, but even
Or
then,
really
like,
much
just
about
the background
dragon
dragons
politics.
from Dragon Quest, like, and just interpretations of dragons throughout the series, none of them have been, like, as close to respectable as Smolder was from day one.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Alright.
So
good.
where exactly does this episode go wrong? Well, basically anything
I
related
mean,
to
well, it
Rainbow
started,
Dash
and that's
Twilight.
pretty
And
scary.
because Rainbow Dash is the main character, we're stuck with her just being the absolute worst throughout the episode. Her behavior towards the cheerleading squad is
Wait,
so
wait, does
obnoxious and
MisAntrhoPony
so
is their least favorite character Rainbow Dash? Like,
I don't remember.
because
Midnight,
I
do
know
you
that
know?
like people like
I don't know.
Sketchy hate Pinkie Pie, just hate Pinkie Pie. So I struggle to take any comments he makes about Pinkie Pie seriously, because they're like almost always seeded through the
I'll be honest. I
biased
feel the
resentment.
exact same way about. I feel the exact same way about Zaldin with Starlight.
Well, yeah,
mean,
I
that's
think,
fair.
but even then, I feel like Zaldin's is more justified than just saying than Sketchy is with Pinkie, because he just says Pinkie's annoying, and it's just like, well, that's very subjective, and yeah, I guess she is. If you just
Hating Starlight is more justified in general, though, unless you're Lily, where you never shut the fuck up about it, or for any decent points.
I mean, Onyx, I'll give you credit. At least you know when to move on to another topic.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, so does like, but does anyone know like does MisAntrhoPony just hate Rainbow Dash's character to begin
I
with?
can check the wiki quick.
The wiki,
anything
that
on there.
dude, that's reliable, dude. I use that to do my tax forms. The wiki.
I don't, where else do you want to look, man?
I don't know.
I
Let
ain't
me pull
searching
out my
through all of
Bible
his
and
videos.
and pray to a higher power. He'll have the answers.
Let's
I am
continue.
your higher power.
No, you're
Holy
not. Wait,
spirit,
what's your
it feels like
elevation?
we're watching the Rainbow
What's my what?
What's your elevation?
Elevation.
Yes, I need to know if
My
you're
elevation
actually a
is
higher
above
power.
you. My elevation is supreme being.
No, from sea level. What's your
Oh,
elevation?
from sea level. Fuck, I don't have my phone on me, and I don't want to tab off the video.
Okay, we'll crunch the
Let's
numbers
continue.
later. We'll crunch the numbers later.
You should pray
Dash
to
from
Pinkie
season
Pie.
1. It's not that she has no interest in cheerleading, it's that she puts absolutely no effort into helping the cheerleading team get ready for the big...
You mean she's actually showing why she's disinterested? That's a bad thing?
No, Lefty, you're supposed to
Apparently.
bottle up your feelings and don't tell anyone until you lash out on everyone you love, and then you have no friends and family. Gosh, get it right.
I mean, the episode is legitimately showing us her disinterest instead of her just saying, "I don't care."
It's showing versus telling. Yeah. So like, is this not? Yeah. Is Rainbow Dash not being responsible? Yeah, because she should have done a better job. But is this part of her character and proving the point of the episode? Yes, it is. You can't expect everyone to do everything perfectly because then there's no problem. There is no moral to learn. You can't learn anything if everyone is doing everything by the book or how things should be done.
It's the old school problem of criticizing a show for being in character rather than presenting things positively.
Well, and just the fact that there has to be a problem to solve for an episode to even exist.
That's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's anyone who watches the show, even people who only casually watch it, should be able to tell Rainbow is one of, if not the most narrow-minded character in the show. So an episode like this works perfectly for her.
Yeah, she's the most egocentric. Like, and the way I kind of looked at it is that it's not that, you know, she doesn't care about the other students. Literally in her head, she can't compute it. She can't see how anyone could possibly care about cheerleading. It's like, I don't care, therefore, how can anyone else care about it?
Therefore, no one cares.
She doesn't have that, I forget the term, but it's like the ability to realize other people are
like
different from
empathy.
your own thoughts.
Well, yeah, not so much
sympathy.
Yeah.
There's an even more scientific term for it, and you develop it when you're like 3. Most people do.
But yeah, she just struggles to see the point of it, and she's not good at just accepting that some things are just like, you know, people just enjoy some things, and maybe it's just because they're weird, or it's just kind of their niche, but like, she's just not good at computing the fact.
Light Huff, they just love it.
Yeah, she's just not good at understanding, or not necessarily understanding, but also just accepting that other people can just like different things for reasons that just don't apply to Rainbow.
All right, are we good to go?
Yep,
Sure.
I am.
Game. She acts incredibly snotty and ignorant towards them, almost as if they're not even there. She has so many lines.
What do you mean?
of
She's
dialogue.
looking right at him. The screenshot said so. The people that don't know Rainbow's, the people that don't know she's there are the ones in blindfolds. They don't know Rainbow's there.
Legitimately, the point of the episode, showing how much Rainbow doesn't give a shit.
Thug life.
That's like me criticizing NASCAR, like, oh, they're racing, they're not passing. Like, I just don't understand this criticism of, like, the episode has to explain and show why this character's acting like this and the effects it has on those around them. Like, how can you have a story if you don't do that?
Well, simple,
Like the
you
depth-
don't, but we don't want conflicts. Conflict is scary, and it
Yeah.
makes people fight.
Yeah. The depth of his argument is literally like, bad things are happening. Rainbow Dash is not being nice, like, and that's it.
Does anyone want to watch
it?
an
Doesn't go
episode?
on to say, well, what's wrong with that?
Does anyone
is
want
that
to take
a
a
bad
trip to
thing
the
critically?
neighborhood and just see how shows as plain and simple as, you know, shoot, my mind is failing me.
2 hours later.
Don't know how my mind has suddenly just failed me to the degree that it has. But Mr. Rogers, there we go. Why don't we go take a trip to the neighborhood where we have tiny cute puppets that also experience problems because conflict has to happen for there to be a moral.
Also, if you notice in this screenshot, Smolder's arm is disjointed.
Oh shit, yeah.
Oh wow.
Found an animation error.
Congrats people. We did it. Also, what's up with her wing and her, you know, like her back?
It's
The
layered
wing is
wrong.
resting on the back.
No, but there's a
It's
hump
layered
that
wrong.
goes over her wing.
Okay, now I see what. Okay, I
That's
see
her
what you.
tail.
I think that's just normal dragons. My OC has that too.
Okay, I'm just saying.
No, but there's but yeah, it's connecting to her
so
tail, but
let's
part of
try
her
to get-
tail
let's just try to get
humps
through
in
this.
front
Yeah.
of the wings, and the rest of it is magically behind it without there being enough
It's layered
bend.
wrong.
Yeah.
It is layered wrong. That's
Shall we
Okay.
do
Yeah.
the next bit?
Yep. Can we
No.
pick one person to hit play so that we don't do the?
I will.
Yeah,
Alright.
Okay,
Lefty,
really
I trust
bothered me
him.
because it's the kind of dialogue that feels like it was written to get under people's skin. She says she
It was written to get under your skin.
Yes.
Look at that
Just because
angry.
it got, oh, okay. Oh my god, I gotta do this. Just because it got under your skin, Map, doesn't mean it got under everyone's skin.
No, but
Thank
no,
you.
look at that
Like,
angry
Map-
face. Look at that mean,
Map is-
malicious face. You can't tell me that wasn't meant to upset people. Look at the
Map,
look at
the
the
funny
killer
thing
in
is
her
Map
eyes.
Map is literally being Rainbow Dash because she's, because Map's the one who's saying, oh well, it gets.
Does
under
anyone
my
have an
skin, so
Does
it gets
anyone
under
have an
everyone's
angry
skin."
Map
See,
face?
that's why I said that.
I see the problem. Map's the person this episode is talking about.
Is he?
Yes.
So wait, is he
It
projecting
hits too
then?
close to home for him.
Guy,
That is
wait, wait.
projecting, I
Does
think.
anyone have an angry Map face so that I can switch out Rainbow's
Isn't
face
that
with
pretty
Map?
much his stock pose, a pissed off face?
Pretty much. Didn't he
Yes.
make his entire debut in the fandom?
You mean what? You mean he
angrily
has other
ranting about people?
Oh,
Like, wasn't
boy.
that his thing at first?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm too young in this fandom to know like anything about way back when.
Okay.
Yeah, he
let's-
made a load of rants about people and pissed people off, and then he did a big apology thing about it, and then just
And
started
then here we
ranting,
are.
and then just went back to ranting again.
Okay, let's get
No.
going.
Yep.
She was watching them cheer? No, she wasn't. She was looking out the window and didn't even notice all the crash.
That she was lying. She was lying. Oh my god.
No, look, that's window
Okay,
man.
Onyx,
She's gazing
Onyx,
off into the
context-
middle distance.
Context for the scene. She was looking at the window to watch the buckball practice, and when they all fell or crashed, whatever, they asked her how'd they do, and she just looked kind of casually looked behind her and said, "Oh, you guys are going great." Like she's not paying attention. She's lying. That's the point of it.
Oh my fucking god.
Yes.
Just
She's like, "Oh yeah, you guys are doing great." Then looks back out the window. That is the context of the scene.
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Here, let me just rewind it. What he said again, real quick.
People's skin. She says she was watching them cheer? No, she wasn't. She was looking out the window and didn't even notice all the crashing happening behind her.
No shit.
Shit.
That is
Yeah.
the context of
Points.
the scene.
What the fuck? I get
So, yeah,
this, and I
it's-
haven't even seen it. I just had it explained to me.
So the issue with
like-
the logic behind this is the
I give
fact
up.
that this isn't
Look.
I
Rainbow's
couldn't
not
hear anyone. Are you
being
people still there?
Yes, we're still here.
yeah. You're good,
Onyx.
comrade.
Miss
Okay,
Anthropone-
Midnight, make your point, and then we'll keep going.
Misanthropony's approach to this video is basically, I'm just going to describe a load of things that happen in the episode, and if I put ominous music behind them, that means they're bad somehow.
And if I say it in a tone that I think is shit, that means it's shit.
Well,
Yeah.
that's all the show has to do to get under his skin, so he thinks that works.
And then I wanted to add a point to this. So with Rainbow looking away, Anthropony's trying to make it sound like Rainbow doesn't care about their like existence all of a sudden. When no, this is willful ignorance, not neglect. She's not saying, oh, if she's not, she hasn't tuned them out. She's just not paying full attention. If someone said, oh, I broke my leg, Rainbow would turn around and help. She's just not, just because she's not showing a lot of interest in them, or any interest, doesn't mean that she has forgotten they are even there. She's just being willfully ignorant because she doesn't value
This scene
the cheerleading.
was a fantastic representation of the whole conflict. It's showing us that she is more interested in buckball, and by her doing this, it is metaphorically showing us how she's turning her back on.
Yeah, it's blinding her. She can't see how much it matters to the
to the
students.
others, yeah.
Well, that's exactly
She
it,
tries to
though.
defend herself by claiming that she actually did something. All she did was throw a bunch of props at them and expect them to do all the work, but
Okay, he is just restating the plot. That is all he is doing.
Yeah.
Like this
Literally
that is literally what happens. She gathers a bunch of stuff up, plops it in front of them, and they're like, "What are we supposed to do with this?" And she says, "I don't know." Like he is literally restating the plot. He's not
It's just-
analyzing anything.
He's reading a hypnosis in a grumpy voice with some ominous music behind it.
Guys, I didn't know making videos was this easy. Man, if I knew it was this simple, I could have had tons of videos out.
let me
Rather
tell
than...
you-
I've clearly been doing everything wrong the whole time.
Exactly.
Let me tell you guys, I would legitimately be embarrassed and ashamed if I made videos like this.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing why I never do this. My 9th and 10th grade English teacher drilled it into us about when writing essays, and that's how I write my scripts, like essays. Is like, you never, ever just summarize a story.
Yeah, I got that as well.
Yeah, that.
Because
yeah.
you have to, A, have respect for your audience and assume they're reading this because they've already seen or read or whatever you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And B, you are going to bore them if all you do is summarize something.
Just like I only repeat stuff for context.
Yes.
Repetition is either just to connect points or drill something in, and even then when you're trying to drill a point in, you use repetition, lightly. You don't repeat you don't repeat everything that's happened. You just repeat one certain point because that's because it's a writing technique, repetition.
The only thing you recap, you brush through everything in 1 or 2 sentences to go from one point to the next. It's not hard.
See, this is why I try to at least set up certain scenes to analyze them, so to avoid summarizing the plot.
Yeah, make analogies to situations that are similar. That
And I also
up.
pick key points. Like for my Bass review, I talked about AJ's justifications for her actions. I talked about the song. I talked about the Flutterbat sequence. I picked different parts of the episode
And you make
and analyze each
analytical
one.
points about them. Like
That's
actual
why it
analytical
takes-
points in an analysis
Yes.
video.
I
Oh,
know.
no, we're
Does
accidentally-
MisAntrhoPony even know what analysis?
Because there's a difference between review and analysis. This is stated as review, but the most review part of it was probably the first 3 minutes, and now from that point it's just been like retelling what happened. When again, what hopefully would have happened. I know it's sort of a standard analysis review where you review and make jokes along the episode, but that's not this case. It's just rereading what happened in the episode. There's not even funny jokes or whatnot. They're saying with such a serious tone that it's just
And
straight.
he's just restating scenes.
It's
All
just
he's saying
straight
is,
text
this happened
with
and
no
it made me
entertainment.
mad.
This
Yes.
happened. It got under my skin.
Exactly, that's about the depth we're dealing
There's
with.
there's no creative writing that's happening. There's no jokes.
We are
There's
about
no
halfway-
analogies.
So we're about halfway through. Let's try to get through this.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have
fine.
to go. I gotta leave in like half an hour.
Yeah,
We're gonna
I
be
got
here a
it.
while. I think
And
skip
then she
work.
says that
This
it's
is
not
more
her
important.
fault that she failed. And then she says that it's not her fault that she failed to be a good coach, actively blaming the cheerleading squad for her own incompetence.
Yes, that's what happened. Now tell us, give us a point. This is an analysis video, Map. Give us a point.
It says review, but whatever.
And then what does she say after sending Ocellus off crying?
It's not my fault you couldn't figure out how to use it right. Well, you could have shown
Oh, good, distracting background again.
Oh, ponies might actually care about Cheer Squad if she cheered like that all the time.
That is showing her ignorance. That is helpful to the episode's story.
It got under my skin, though.
Yeah. No, just play the next bit though.
Is this the
Oh.
T-Rex part?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was just insensitive and cruel. Fuck you, Dash. You're worse than Tyrek when he backstabbed Discord. What really upsets
Oh
me
my
so deeply-
Yes.
god.
I made a
Yes,
child
that's
cry.
Totally the same
I don't
thing.
care about genocide. Genocide happens all the time. Making a child cry, now that's where we draw the line.
Can you imagine if T-Rex was watching this? He'd be like, well, I may have stolen all the pony's magic from Equestria, but at least I didn't make a child cry.
Yes. I note you see, when I took the magic from Equestria, the children did not have the physical strength to cry after I crippled
Therefore, I am
them.
better.
Therefore I'm better because they didn't have the physical capabilities after I abused the masses.
So a villain doing a cliche backstab, that's fine. But you know, someone being ignorant to the point they reduce a child to tears, oh, that's hell. There's a special spot in hell for you, apparently.
Yeah,
Can I ask
dude.
a serious question, Map? Who hurt you? Why are you so offended?
No, Onyx.
But-
We need to ask Map. Show us on the doll where the episode touched you.
Oh god.
I seriously want to know though, who hurt? Why is he so? And I know I sound like a fucking jackass wording it like this, but like, who hurt you? Why
But no,
are
yeah,
you
it's curious
offended
why this was
over
so.
this episode so much?
You know, why was
Why
this
does it
so
get under his
upsetting?
Skin so much.
Exactly, that's my points.
Yeah, that
Like,
that
I
is a
mean,
curious question.
Rainbow Falls actively pisses me off, but I mean, you guys already know the reason why.
Lefty didn't compare it to you know, taking over the world, so
Exactly. But that would make sense. And I mean, I would get why it made you mad if you gave us a point.
Instead of restating the plot.
Exactly, thank you.
See, Onyx, you're only learning about the episode. He's not telling you. For someone who hasn't
we
seen
don't
the
need
episode,
to
he's only
watch
telling
the
you what
episode. We
happened.
have
He's
this
not actively
review,
helping
this
you.
recap.
He's not helping you
He's
understand
saving
the
me-
episode.
He's saving me the trouble of watching the episode and wasting my time in the process.
But he's
Yeah.
not helping you
yeah,
understand
but
it.
I don't get his opinion. I'm just like,
Yeah.
dude, who the fuck hurt you?
Yeah.
That's
Oh.
exactly.
It's just the attitude that Dash is showing towards people who are supposed to be her friends. She just comes across as needlessly condescending and doesn't care at all about her responsibility.
Yes, that's her character.
Like
You're
how
right.
it was shown the instant Twilight told her she would be coaching cheerleading. That is when you saw her like smug, unhappy face when she's covered in all the sporting equipment. That was her instant reaction. So this is only holding up the continuity of the episode, and apparently that's a bad thing.
Let me make a comparison. Map, you were angry. We don't know why. We're angry at you because you won't explain it, and we've said it a million times and are giving you clear examples. There's your difference. Learn from this.
Or the trust that
Yeah,
Twilight
force
was
habit,
putting
sorry.
into her. Seriously, this is supposed to be one of the ponies who's going to rule Equestria? She can't even be trusted with a cheerleading squad.
She would give a shit about ruling Equestria. She wouldn't give a shit about cheerleading.
I feel
She's
like
loyal
most
to
people-
Equestria. Of course she would give a shit about it.
I feel like most people would give a shit if they were suddenly put in charge of a goddamn
Okay,
country.
isn't that a false equivalency? Running a country
Yes, it
versus
is
running a
false
cheer.
equivalency.
But she's not exactly ruling Equestria anyway, because really Twilight's ruling Equestria.
Mhm.
That is true.
Well, okay, but at this point in the
Map didn't
series, we
give it
didn't
that
know
depth.
that.
And Map didn't give the point that nuance anyway. He's still treating it as if she's being put in charge, at least in part.
So
Not
it's
even
like,
being in charge
okay,
of
if you can't handle coaching a cheer squad, you clearly can't handle running Equestria. Like, how do you? Those things are not comparable.
Not even
Yeah.
running a country, running the hyperpower of this fictional world. So like, oh, if you can't handle cheerleading a squad, you can't handle being president. Like, no, those are not anywhere near the same level. And fuck you for thinking they are.
That's just. Wouldn't you call that just lazy analysis?
And
Mm.
what's
This isn't analysis. That would be too kind. This is just,
Yes.
This is just being offended without telling anyone why, so
And
no one
This
can
is
help
just
you.
shit.
and what's more
Thank you,
interesting about
Green
this
Knight,
is they're
for
getting
more
so
help,
bad
man.
about Rainbow specifically, and I, you know, if you gave me like 20 minutes, I could find moments where all of the main six would seem, you know, irresponsible for trivial tasks.
Twilight not paying attention to Spike in Spike at Your Service.
All of lesson 0.
Yeah, like, and even if we just within the last season, there's plenty of times where they're all doing silly, weird things that are obscure, and you're like, oh yes, this person can't lead, you know, can't lead a country because they were a douchebag once in their life. Look at every
Ironically,
president
that is
ever and
actually
tell me they were
political
saints. Tell me any world leader
Ironically,
was a
we
saint
actually-
when they were born.
You made me sad because that actually fucking happens now with Twitter.
Yeah, there literally no one no one is perfect. No one is, amazing. We all do douchebag things, even when we try to be better, and we can grow from them. But like, everyone has their stupid limits.
Apparently want that.
I'll bet you Map's one of those people to dig back through someone's old tweet and try to get them fired because they said something stupid 10 years ago.
Aha, you said this in March of 2008. You're clearly unfit to do what you're doing now.
Exactly. You're clearly worse than an actual terrorist.
And what's even more interesting is that we literally talked about how Map used to make like a bunch of rant posts and then apologize for it because they messed up. And now they're trying to say, oh yes, Rainbow Dash was mean to children. That's terrible. I made.
Let me tell you guys this: if I was not watching this video with you guys, I would have turned this off.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm having
Midnight. You are a saint for going through this and writing a script for it.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
What makes you think she can be trusted with an entire country? She repeatedly ignores the routine and doesn't consider the stress that the team is going
Again,
through.
restating the
They're on a schedule
plot.
to get this done in time, and they're being forced to
No,
get
no,
it
no,
done
but look
without
at
any
sad
help from the
children.
coach.
Don't you
She's
feel bad
dense,
now?
needless-
With the somber
Just
music.
listen to that music.
This is literally the depth of a charity ad.
Did
Hi,
you know
I'm
that
Sarah
anyone could get
McLachlan.
cancer?
It's like those the help the abandoned animals with in the arms of an angel playing in the background.
That's exactly what I'm fucking thinking of. Thank you. I couldn't remember the name of the song for some reason.
I'll say this though, at least those ads got you.
Oof.
Yeah, exactly. They worked, and then they used them forever, and now they don't work anymore. Now we use them to shit on people on the internet. That's why you
selfish
can't do
and
that.
just really bratty for no reason. The least she could have done was put in the tiniest bit of.
Then the story wouldn't have happened, Map. And that's not saying that, I'm not saying that's a plot hole or anything where, the plot hole has to happen for the story to happen. It's like, you are fundamentally changing the entire story just because you think Rainbow is too much of a dick.
Not even changing the entire story. You are blowing out the Iblis flame metaphorically to make a Sonic 06 reference.
But yeah,
That's
so
what
then,
comes to
so
mind.
then a
You're
question
undoing the
for
whole
Map
story.
then.
Because go
Sorry.
ahead.
A question for Matt then, like, if Rainbow Dash wasn't this uninterested, this, willfully ignorant, and just chose, like, she made sure they didn't die, so clearly she cared a little bit, and it was an assignment, and she, if she really didn't want to care at all, she could have just said no and never show up. But she cared about some sort of well-being of these children to make sure they didn't blow themselves to hell. So, how could you make Rainbow Dash more helpful without taking
Honestly,
away the
that
problem?
What happens is it works better than if she didn't show up.
Because it
she
just
cared enough
shows
to
that she
show
doesn't.
up,
Yeah.
but she's only showing the minimal amount. She is literally showing the littlest amount
She's
of care
phoning it in.
one could possibly
Yeah, so
do.
how could she be? How could you make this episode quote unquote better if you try to tamper with Rainbow Dash not wanting to care? Like, that's
It
the
won't
entire
work.
problem. If you take
Literally-
away that. Even if you make her care a little bit and then maybe she's just sort of lazy, then you're changing the moral. It's not about being responsible or understanding that people can have new interests. It's now being, hey, just because you don't like something doesn't mean you shouldn't, put effort in it.
If this episode was the way MisAntrhoPony wanted it to be, it would just be boring.
Yes.
Because there'd be no
She needs
You mean
to
like
be
his
a better
videos?
person.
You mean like his videos?
I think furthermore with
Okay.
that point is just the fact that with kid shows you kind of have to show things as extremes, even if things don't always show as extreme. It's easier to understand a point when you put it in more extreme terms, because then you can see, like, yes, this person, someone without thinking too hard, or for a child when thinking, could be like, yeah, Rainbow Dash is definitely making a mistake, because this is supposed to be teaching kids a lesson. So it has to be easy to understand and extreme to get the point across.
Thank
Yes.
you. All right, are we good to go now?
Yeah,
Sure.
keep on
of effort
trucking.
in helping them out. It's really frustrating that you have all these characters actually excited and looking forward to being a good cheerleading team, but Dash just acts like that dismissive parent.
What are you
only
talking about?
pretends to
Snips
be
is having a
invested in their
great
kids
time.
doing
Look at
something,
him.
But not even actually caring to see them do it. Even if you want to make the argument that it's
Oh,
in
wait, back
character
to
for her
evil
not be
face.
interested in cheerleading because she's more of a crowd pleaser, that doesn't excuse her attitude.
No, it explains her attitude and ignorance.
Yeah. The episode isn't in it excusing it. At what point does the episode excuse her for it?
I don't know. If
She's
only we had
literally
someone to
living
tell us
remember
what happened in
after-
the
Yeah.
episode.
After Smolder berates her and drops on her head, you are being a piece of shit. Rainbow
Yeah.
feels bad and makes up for it. The episode is telling us
It's like,
being neglectful is wrong.
it's like, well, that doesn't excuse her attitude. No, it doesn't excuse it, and the
That's
episode
why
agrees
she's
with you.
The one learning the lesson.
Does Map understand story structure?
No.
No.
Well, you see, it has a beginning, there's something in the middle, and then it ends and everyone's happy,
It
right?
gets under my skin, therefore it's bad.
I don't
To her
agree
ignorance,
with how they're
Dash has
telling the
already been
story.
3.5 seasons worth of character growth. She's supposed to be a lot less clueless than this. She doesn't even fit in the scenario properly because she already learned a lesson about doing something you don't like for.
That was a shit episode, so I don't count it.
I'm gonna say that's a dumb point, but okay, good. Go into detail. Why? Explain it, because I haven't
All
seen
he
that
said
episode
was she
either.
learned this lesson and that's it.
Learned
You
the
didn't
lesson
even
in this
prove it. You
episode.
didn't
Can we
even prove
explain
the
what the
point,
lesson
let alone
was?
explain it. You just showed a screenshot. I have no idea where this is from. I don't remember this episode.
What was the lesson?
You're not missing anything.
What was
Right-
the
right
episode?
now,
What
right?
happened in this episode?
That was the ended friend. It was a shit episode.
I
Oof.
might have seen this one now that I think about it, but you didn't explain your point, so it doesn't matter.
And besides, he's going off that fallacy of, well, if they learned it once, that means it's stuck in our brain forever.
Yeah,
We're never gonna
because-
make that
yeah.
mistake again.
Fluttershy fallacy.
Yeah, literally
Yeah.
Fluttershy. She's
Here's
getting
the
better.
thing.
It's called improvement over
Here's
time.
the way I equate it. It's like saying, let's just say, talk about a race car driver. They've been in the sport for a number of years, and they
Of course,
speed on
once you
pit
make a
road.
racing analogy.
Well, it works, okay?
keep
People call
going.
that a rookie mistake because it is a rookie. Speeding on pit road or pit row, whatever Formula One calls, pit lane, whatever. They call it a rookie mistake because speeding is a rookie mistake. However, you don't just expect that once a driver makes that mistake, you can't expect them to never speed on pit road again. It's gonna happen. People are going to make mistakes they made in the past, no
Or
matter
s-
how hard they try to.
Or studying
atone
for a
them.
test. How many times did your teacher say, study for this test, you need to, and you said, nah, I don't care, I'm too lazy.
Or you
And-
procrastinated.
Yeah. It's a reoccurring issue because you can't just
It's a
undo
hard
a
thing to
habit.
shake.
Yeah, you can't just undo a habit overnight. It takes repetition,
And
it takes
confirm with my
consistent
content.
practice.
I can confirm with my content. I have a really bad habit of just not making shit
Content,
because I
yeah.
don't feel like
If
it.
only I learned my lesson the first time.
If only I learned my lesson. Now I am. Now I'm staying up late every night to work on this video in a week. And I'll tell you this, I don't think it's perfect looking at the script again, but it's a way fucking better than this.
Okay, let's keep on trucking. I gotta leave in about 20 minutes.
Sure.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
a friend in a previous season. When Snips and Snails are a
Oh,
better
angry
highlight of
face
the
again.
episode than the main character, that's just embarrassing. And that's not including how asinine it was for Twilight to pull off the stunt that she did. Right from the get-go, she thinks that it's a good idea to place Rainbow Dash, the more athletic pony who
At the end of the
Cheerleading's a
episode,
sport.
at the end of the episode, Onyx, it was revealed Twilight knew Rainbow would come around. That's why she did it.
Oh my fucking god.
So MisAntrhoPony is calling what Twilight did asinine, despite Twilight knowing Rainbow would learn her lesson.
She
I
knew
think
there
Well, he
was
does-
going
to
to
be
be
fair,
an
he
issue.
does-
A tactic, and
To
I
be
hate
fair,
it,
he
and I don't
does
like it.
address that.
Okay.
It's a
Alright.
Celestia tactic, but I want to make another point. you're saying, oh, she's athletic. That's not a good description. Cheerleading, I think, is literally considered a sport.
It
What the
is.
fuck
They
are
have
you on about?
competitions. My cousin was a
Exactly.
cheerleader in high school.
Exact. Cheerleading is athletic.
And it's always associated with sports. When do you see a cheerleading? When do you see some a cheerleading exercise that isn't associated with either like a football team or again just a straight competition between cheerleading groups?
It's kind of sad that me, who watches a sport where the fans are the cheerleaders, understands that better than Map.
Yeah. That.
Who's already
This isn't
coached the
even a sport
buckball
thing, it's a
team in
common
charge of the
knowledge.
cheerleading squad, when Pinkie Pie is right there and is much more experienced in cheerleading. And when it's revealed that she was aware of what was going to happen the whole time just to pull off a Trollestia, that makes it even worse. She deliberately set up a problem by placing Dash in a position that she wasn't interested in, conned out of her.
Retconned out of her. What?
What?
Explain how
I
it was a
agree with-
retcon.
I
Do you
agree
know
with
what
this
retcon
point.
means?
Thank you
Give
for-
me a definition.
I agree with the point, and thank you for making a point for the first time in like 10 minutes. I said the first time in 10 minutes, but we aren't even 10 minutes in.
Yeah,
7 minutes.
yeah,
Just
but,
call
and then with this as well,
Fair enough.
maybe Twilight was
Retcon,
playing,
though?
3D chess over here and be like, I want to see the students be responsible by telling their teacher when they're wrong.
That's another good point. Maybe she was.
Well,
Maybe
here's the thing,
Twilight's
though.
trying to make these kids, big brain.
This is what the first 2 seasons were built on. Celestia expecting Twilight to learn and report on friendship.
And not
This
to
is
mention
exactly
question authority, because Celestia isn't always right, and Twilight needs to learn that she needs to not do things always by the book.
Well, no,
the way Celestia
the way I was going was it's like Twilight's doing what Celestia did. Like no one
Yeah.
really had a problem with that in the first few seasons.
Well, and
Now
that was
Twilight does
that
it
was a reference to
I
the
did
it
the
once.
Trollestia
I
thing.
did.
That
I just want to. I did have a problem with that because I think the whole tactic is dumb.
Okay.
Well, I
But
think
whatever,
it's
I'm
a
the minority
I think it's a
opinion.
very interesting learning technique, and I actually am all for it. The issue is when doing such a thing, there has to be some sort of safety net to keep it from derailing into causing, actual harm.
Yeah.
If you
we
can
have a
do it like in a
discussion about that later,
contained
that's not-
environment where they're not going to be in a position where they fail to defuse a bomb, like so long as that you don't get in that situation, then letting people give people, put people in a position where your instructions or what you've given them isn't sufficient, so they have to go out of their way to complete the task. This is literally like every skilled trade course ever. They just tell you what needs to happen and you figure it out.
See, Matt's actually made a point here, and now we've got a discussion going. Maybe he should do that more often.
Thank
Oof.
you.
This was the
Alright,
nicest discussion of
I'm
the
pretty sure
entire
that placing
video.
your friends in a position that they have no knowledge about without any form of advice or warning is not a smart thing to do. It's almost kind of manipulative that she placed Dash in a position
Debatable.
that she wasn't
But look at that
qualified for
evil
when there were
face,
so
though.
many
That's
others who
evil
were much more
smirk.
qualified just so we can have an ego-boosting joke at the end of the episode. And when you think about it, it doesn't even make any sense. She was knowingly placing Dash in a field way outside of her expertise at the expense of the cheerleading squad.
For the record, remember when in Sonic Rainbow when Rainbow was trying to get Fluttershy to cheer? She's not
Yeah.
exactly ignorant when it comes to cheering. She
Not
just
to
doesn't
mention,
understand
what
a cheer squad is
even-
for.
And apart from that, the ending of this episode proves that Rainbow Dash is perfectly suited to the role of the squad leader
Yeah.
for the cheerleaders, and she can do it
Yeah.
once she starts actually making an
Also,
effort at it.
there
So
was
the
a
idea
line
that
in
she's not
here.
qualified to do it or whatever is...
There was a line in here that I wish I had caught when I was writing my script. That explains perfectly why Rainbow doesn't quite understand Cheer Squad. It's right before Yona runs off crying. She specifically says, "No one cares about Cheer Squad. That's why every pony goes up to get a snack during it." And because of her mindset of if I don't care, no one cares,
Yeah.
that tells us she's the pony that gets up to get a snack. Therefore, it makes sense why she doesn't understand Cheer Squad.
Yeah.
I think what
Show, don't tell.
Yeah, and then taking a step back and going about the point where Rainbow Dash is apparently, clearly unqualified for this. Name an example of her not being fit for this role outside of this episode. When has Rainbow Dash shown characteristics? Like, I'm sure they're out there, but the issue is MisAntrhoPony doesn't show or tell us when outside of this episode that shows she couldn't do it.
When she cares about someone, she will give her 110% to help them.
Yeah, the issue was lack of interest in this. You're telling me to keep track of the NASCAR score, and I don't understand the damn sport or care about it. Don't tell me to keep track of NASCAR.
That's when I would come in to explain it. That's when I would come in to explain it.
But Rainbow Dash is.
We have a relevant NASCAR expert.
Yeah.
That's what being qualified is.
It's just.
And what they actually needed.
Yeah.
There wasn't even a guarantee that Dash was going to learn the lesson.
What were you gonna say, Lazer?
Sorry, I'm just thinking, like, it just seems so odd because there's, like, I'm sure that Rainbow Dash has the expertise for it because she's the most athletic. I'm sure there's times where she's proven not to be, great for this field, but it's just not shown outside of this episode, or at least not in this review, and it's just bothering me.
You mean you need to have an idea of the character and go for other examples?
Yeah,
Gee,
that
what a fucking concept.
It's just bothering me.
Maybe that's
that
why
this
Mr.
one
Pony
issue is
doesn't
bothering me
actually
more than
understand
it
Pinky.
should.
He just has that sign in his room that says "Think Pink."
What particularly annoyed me about that point Matt made actually is it hit close to home for me because it sounded a lot like the kind of, well, you can't have this job because you're not experienced enough argument.
Yeah, I've had that happen.
Perfectly well suited to it, which is something I hate.
That's why I'm literally going to college for skilled trades of all things, so that I can have a stupid paper that says I can do this. Literally, just to have a college degree for the sake of having a degree, as well as it says that I can put pipe together, I can build a house, I can freaking do heating and ventilation. That's what my paper says. That's what I'm shooting for.
I have a perfect response to this video. Okay, boomer.
Okay, we got less than 3 minutes. We can do this.
Okay, sure thing.
In time. Twilight gambled everything on Dash learning a lesson where it wasn't needed, and just hoped that she would stop being a
When
dick
is a
long enough to
lesson
get them
ever
ready for the game.
100%
That was a
needed to
huge
be
dick
learned?
move, and it just felt so forced and unnatural. What really makes this episode so terrible is just how absurd the setup is. The lesson they wanted to teach here is that even if you don't care about something, you should still care about your friends who do and enjoy doing it with them. And they wanted to teach that lesson with a story about Twilight assigning Rainbow Dash to coach a cheerleading squad. But there's too many problems with that setup.
What
I don't
problems?
get the problems with the setup. He hasn't said anything about that.
No. I think we're gonna get there. Come on. This is the end. This is when we get to the fourth and final right diagnosis in house.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
Dash didn't choose to be the coach. Twilight.
Let me make an example, actually. I don't know anything about NASCAR. I can still, pretend to care about it when Lefty's talking about it. I can still try to understand it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I
even
didn't
if you
choose to be in that situation. I started the damn server.
Here's the thing. As long as you guys actually care enough to pretend, that's all I care about. You care enough to pretend to care. I like
or at least just listen and try to understand what's happening, because I don't know about NASCAR, but when Lefty says, and then this guy started drifting and ran into the wall, well, I'm like, well, shit, that's something.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's like,
or the fact that
it reminds me, Onyx, of the time when I was explaining the point system, and you're like, okay, that's stupid, I guess, but maybe it works. And then I said, yes, but theoretically, someone could win the first 35 races, blow an engine in the final race, and still lose the championship. And then you're like, okay, that's retarded.
Yeah, exactly.
Volunteered her. She was deliberately making her do something she wasn't interested in and gambling the success of the cheerleading
I know,
team.
God forbid having a job that you don't 100% love.
A moment to talk to her about it. Or better yet, why didn't Dash just go to Twilight and explain to her how she's not...
Why didn't she prevent the conflicts? Because then we wouldn't have a story. Also, you're expecting Rainbow to be thoughtful, which is explicitly out of character for her. Well,
You're expecting Rainbow to not be narrow-minded.
Mindful, there's the word I'm looking for.
And also, I don't think Rainbow Dash is the
Also,
kind of character to like.
Here's the thing: if Rainbow didn't, Twilight would have nagged the fuck out of her, and Rainbow probably wouldn't have wanted that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then again, Rainbow's not the kind of person to try to dump, stuff on other people, or at least not unless it like exclusive. Like if Rainbow's gonna dump some like last minute errand on someone, it's for like Rainbow's exclusive benefit. This is just her being like, yeah, sure, whatever, and then just sort of sticking through it to the end without just doing a half-ass job.
So,
She's not gonna just ditch it.
Didn't Map earlier say Pinky would have been more suitable to coach cheers?
Yes, because she does more party
remember,
cheerleading things.
Yeah, but Pinky is an actual professional buckball player. Dash isn't. That's why she was more suited to coach the buckball team with Fluttershy because and Snails. They are in the Buckball Hall of Fame. Rainbow Dash isn't.
Which is surprising, but still, that's how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's
Could have said,
finish
Twilight,
this.
I know you volunteered me, but I just don't think I'm qualified for the job. Could you please ask someone else to coach the cheerleaders who would do a much better job than...
Yeah, because Rainbow would totally talk like that to Twilight.
Yeah, exactly.
I need a higher power. Please establish one for me.
It's like, no, if it was Rainbow, it'd be like, Twilight, this is boring. I don't want to do it. Can you please get Pinky to do it?
Yeah,
that's what Rainbow would have said.
It would be more begging, not like kindly requesting.
That is totally not in character for Rainbow to say something. She's not very articulate.
Yeah, she just says, I don't want to do it. Help me, please.
That was all
It's a
better,
problem that could have
but he
easily been
wants
solved
everyone
by
to
just
talk
having the
like Mormon.
characters communicate. And Dash didn't even
Not
have to
Mormons,
learn
Jehovah's
anything.
Witnesses.
She wasn't
I like
causing any
cults
trouble
instead.
until
Mhm.
after Twilight got involved and volunteered her, so this conflict never had to happen in the...
Then we wouldn't have had an episode, dumbass.
You go back to...
If we just killed T-Rex instead of letting him escape,
Okay.
we never would have had
let me-
season
let's
4
listen.
finale.
Twilight got
Actually, the
involved and
entire problem.
volunteered her, so this
Damn it, I gotta do it again.
conflict never had to happen in the first place. There were a bunch of ways that this issue could have been avoided
So this
altogether by
conflict
having Dash and
never had to
Twilight actually
happen
discuss.
First place. Pause it, Lefty.
I did.
Okay. So this conflict never had to happen first place. You don't want there to be a story.
I suppose the point he's making is he feels it was a forced conflict and it didn't flow naturally.
Except
It
it
didn't
did.
feel sort of organic.
Okay,
as a
good.
story.
Explain why instead of just recapping the story.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Because then there is a
Indeed.
discussion. Now that Midnight actually put it in some reasonable fucking terms.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things, for a lot of stories do have to have a little bit of contrivance, for them to start.
Exactly. The way Mr. Enter put it, I think it was him. Contrivance isn't bad in itself. The problem is when you can tell that it's happening.
It's kind of like, I think a good, when contrivance is a good thing is I think in the original Star Wars movie, is that these droids that Luke's family happened to buy or at least R2-D2 happened to know, Obi-Wan Kenobi, who knew his father. That's a little bit of a contrivance.
That's a
but it's
plot
not bad.
convenience.
It is.
But it
Or
worked with
like
the
how-
narrative because it
Or
was
like
by
how,
chance.
the Empire didn't shoot down the escape ship or escape pod that C-3PO and R2-D2 was on. That's a bit of a contrivance, but
There was no
it-
life
it's
forms, and
not-
that's what they were checking for.
But they're not pointless. They're necessary for the plot.
yeah.
The point is, that's when a contrivance becomes a problem. When it's obvious or not needed. This is literally the foundational conflict of the entire.
So this is when contrivance is a good thing.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I think, and also in
We're-
this example, it's a realistic
almost done.
example. It's a realistic example. It's not something egregious. Like, I happen to find Thor's hammer just in time to kill, so and so.
Yes.
It's not a life-threatening convenience. All right,
Okay,
continue.
we're almost done. Let's get this over
go
with.
ahead.
Or just have someone else coach the cheerleaders so that Dash can coach the buckball team. It just bugs me how obtuse this setup was. From
Obtuse.
Dash being needlessly cruel for the
Just
story to
bugs
even
me.
work.
Dude, that's a
Twilight
triangle,
being-
brother.
See this.
See, okay, if you want to call her cruel for saying it's not her fault, they didn't know how to use the props. Okay, fine, but he's acting like she was needlessly cruel throughout the whole episode when she was not.
What, did you miss the part when, you know, did you miss the part where she turned into a Sith Lord? That was my favorite part of the episode. And she started using Force Lightning. That was very artistic.
Yep. Nap is doing one right here, though. He's summarizing his point. His summaries are, we need such and such so that this conflict didn't happen in the first place, and and this feels forced because it got under because it just bugs me. I think
Okay,
that's what he said.
we are almost done.
The cheerleaders and the props for Dash to learn a lesson she didn't need to learn, to the several ways that this problem could have easily been solved.
For the record, his ways to solve the problem would have destroyed the story.
It wasn't solving the problem, it was ignoring the problem
would have killed the
and
story.
sending it to
It's
someone
preventing
else,
the problem.
ignoring the episode, yes.
He wants
Just
to
feels
prevent
so
the problem.
epically fake. And that's the biggest problem with the episode.
It
In
feels
spite of
fake.
its
You
positive
feel
qualities,
fake.
it just feels so fake in the execution of its main story. It feels
What's
like
so
something
fake
that didn't
about
need
it?
to happen, and the audience just gets
Feels
dragged
like-
around for a plotline that defeats itself in multiple ways. 246 grade is a real disappointment because it didn't even need to be that way. It could have worked if they did things more
How?
properly, like having
How-
Dash learn.
If they did things my way, it would have been better.
If they did things
don't
my
like
way
it.
and
This
we
is
kill
my-
Rainbow Dash, I'd replace her with a new made 6 that has no character flaw. We'll replace her with Mary Sue, and the episode would have been perfect, because no issue would ever
Her
happen.
lesson sooner, or even have her negative traits less excessive. But that didn't
Make her
happen, and what
negative
we ended up
traits
getting
less
was the first
excessive.
dud in what's
Prevent the
otherwise been a
source
solid
of the
season so
conflict.
far. So take that for what you might, and hopefully the next episode will be an improvement. So until next time, take care of yourselves and stay awesome.
I
This
don't
is
want to
Matt
take
signing
care of
out.
myself. I'm a depressed teenager. Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, I
So
think
in
so.
conclusion,
This video was shit.
I
I'd
already
say
said
would-
that, but
would-
yeah.
No, guys, why is the
I
end card
think
gone?
I-
Was there nothing? It's just a photo.
I
It's
mean,
just
this is like an anti-review. This was like, what, 8 minutes of restating the plot and then only making, what, 1 point about, Twilight being manipulative?
I think if we were
And
to
then you
watch
made
it, like,
points
if
about
we
the plot
spent
being
more
forced
time to
but
really
didn't explain it well.
ground it down, we could pull more from it. But surface level, watching the review one time through, and this is coming from a person that hasn't even seen the episode, I have a very good understanding of what happened in the episode now. But it's not
Yeah,
because, but it's,
Yeah,
but I
but the
haven't,
problem with this review
I haven't
is
learned anything
it
outside
helps
of the
people-
episode.
It helps people, it helps tell people what the episode is and what happens, sure, but it doesn't help them understand.
Yeah,
Or
where's
understand
where's
why he's
the
so angry about.
deep, where's the deep
I mean,
analysis? Where's the
I mean,
philosophical
the
quandary?
best way I can summarize this review is I hated this episode because it made me mad. Like, that is
Yeah.
That's
literally the
literally
depth.
what he said at the fucking end is what I was pointing out.
Like, that's pretty much the depth this review.
It is.
Yeah.
And he literally, and it shows in his summary. That's literally what the fuck he says with more fancy.
I can't wait for someone to respond to this recording and just
It just
tell
bugs me.
and just say how everything we said was wrong. I can't wait for that comment.
You know what? I would love to fucking see him do that. Not even joking.
He's MisAntrhoPony's gonna like come back, sword in hand, and just tear us a new one. Obviously.
We're bringing back
Well-
the map rants.
Yeah, the map rants. The map rants.
Oh, dude.
Do a rant
Midnight.
about the void.
Okay, Midnight, before I have to sign off, let me ask you, what was better about my video compared to Maps? Like, tell the audience.
Well, there was more analytical points in it. I suppose you actually explained what you thought was good about the episode, rather than just restating what happened in the episode in a positive voice or in an angry voice, with some dramatic music behind it.
I don't even have to watch Lefty's video to already know that the tone's gonna be a lot nicer, the audio quality is going to be superior, and the editing is going to be better, as well as the analogies to NASCAR that I don't fully understand. The flag rating is so original and unique that I'm going to enjoy Lefty just saying his rating of the episode more than I enjoyed MisAntrhoPony.
And if Lefty makes a comparison to NASCAR in his videos, he actually explains it.
I get the references in those ones. I don't know NASCAR, but Lefty, takes 5 seconds out of his time to quickly explain, or just the color flag system is basic enough for anyone to understand.
Exactly. Thank you. The difference is he explains himself and knows what he's doing.
Not to mention Lefty straight has a unique system.
Yeah. To be fair though, Lazer, no one's matching Lefty's body.
Yeah, Lefty, but again, I don't watch a lot of reviews as I used to watch a lot more, but by watching just a couple of Lefty's reviews, I've always enjoyed the rating more, it's such a small thing, but it really makes it a whole different experience. There's a little, tire screeching noise every time a tip comes up, or, a gear noise, and then it does the same noise when it goes away. It's such a little thing, but that just proves how much more effort was put into literally 5 seconds of footage is more effort than this entire video.
Well, the Lefty actually uses clips for one thing.
Yeah, which is appreciated, and the background is unique.
One clip in the middle of
this has just turned into to kissing Lefty's ass while shitting on MisAntrhoPony. That's just what this evolved into.
I get what you're saying, Lazer. That's all more advanced stylistic stuff. Map is failing on a basic fundamental level.
MisAntrhoPony is just odd. It's nothing fantastic, it's nothing unique and creative. It's like if you took Lefty's stuff, but then took away everything that made it different.
Everything.
Take away the background, take away the references, take away the little NASCAR icons, and you just sort of have this blank image of, ooh, here's a picture from the show, ooh, here's a clip from the show, I'm gonna tell you about the episode, and I'm just not gonna be funny about it.
What you're describing, I think, would be closer. I don't mean this in a negative way. What would be closer to Watchful, where it's just as stock as possible and it's boring. But at least
do you mean Watchful Pony that does the top 10s?
An analysis video.
Are you saying Watchful the dragon guy, or Watchful Pony Watch? I've actually I actually have one of those I need to dissect because I really need to do a rifting thing because it would fit me very well. I just need to edit and make that stuff.
Rifting? That sounds like a funny series. I might have to take a look at that.
Well, rifting is just where it's basically what we just did. You just rag on someone, but I want it to be more edited and more analytical than this kind of disaster. But something I've been told to do, and I really want to do it because there's a lot of things I want to just rip apart.
Yeah.
Okay. This has been fun, guys. I really gotta go.
Sure thing. I'll save the footage and I can start editing almost immediately to try to make this of decent quality.
Okay. Hopefully you see the finished product soon.